a week it has been at the stable. Really, really, really good week. We took 40 horses over to the track. 40 horses went up behind the gate. 40 horses did pretty good. A couple of breakers. None at the gate, though. Some throughout the middle of the mile made mistakes looking around or acting up and just doing baby stuff. But really, hard to believe you can take 40 horses off the farm like that and have them perform as well as they did this week. I had somebody email me this week. They're like, listen, man, like, I know you're optimistic, but you can't have that many good horses. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I mean, we have a list, 1 through 54, of horses, you know, in my mind where I'd rank them, so to speak. But I can only go on what I've seen in past years or what I see around here or the positive things that I see from the horses in the stable. And I don't know what Scott McEnany's horses look like, or Jack Darling's, or Blake McIntosh's, or Irv Miller, Andy Miller, Jimmy Tactor, or Ron Burke's. I have no idea. So I can only look at what we have. And I'm pretty happy with what I see at the stable. I mean, we get some horses that are really fast, really durable, really understand what they're here to do. It's only natural. I mean, we got a lot of horses at the barn. So do other people. So we can only do the best we can to put the work into them and then hope that shines through on the track. And I think it will, and hopefully you think it will this summer. So in regards to the people that are, you know, are listening to these videos saying, it can't all be roses. I see the good in all the horses, and I think I've pointed out some glaring flaws in some of the horses we have also. But for the most part, we just took the vast majority of our horses to Mohawk, and they all look great. So I'm going to go through the list. I got a million sheets here. I'm going to go through. So you saw a list of how the horses did on Friday. I did one from Monday, I believe, earlier on. I'm going to go through a list of what I see. We got the race horses here. We're going to run through them quick. The horses that I believe are horses that I saw on the move this week. Horses that I saw show up to the track, do their work, and look tremendous. That we really haven't talked about that much. A couple of them we've talked about in the past, but you'd be surprised with a couple of the ones that haven't. We're also going to talk about the top, I've just made a top 10. So top 5 horses on the move, top 10 horses this week at the track. This has no bearing with, you're not going to see Maintenance Man on this list. He finished 4th. He did everything we needed him to do. But these are the horses we're going to back off with now. Maintenance Man, King of the Ball will probably be one that we're going to train him a good mile and then back off a bit with him. White Tiger, Arvika, she's going to go out. We talked about all this stuff. But I'm going to talk about the horses that are going to qualify, that are going to do good. And we're going to run through them. We're going to run through, as I said, the race horses, top 10, top 5, what I saw this week, what's coming up the stable, and what's qualifying. We have 3 horses qualifying on Monday, and that's something I'm pumped about. It's really early. Here's the dilemma we have, is that we have 3 horses holding steady. Not an Angel and Ivanka, 3 Illinois bred horses that are going to the stake races, which start, I just looked, the first stake race in Illinois is a full month before the first stake in Ontario. So they're starting a full month before our program. We'd like to take the next 2 weeks to polish. And again, we don't have to have them ready for June 13th, but they're going to race for 30 or 40,000. Program's not long in Illinois. So we don't have to worry about stretching them right out into September, October, November. Their program ends pretty early. I think the 1st of September actually is when their program ends. I'm in New Zealand actually. I remember now. So around September 12th. So not a super long program. So they started a little bit early for various reasons. We're going to qualify those horses Monday morning. I would like to qualify them Friday, but the truck to go to Illinois is coming here on Sunday, June 3rd. I don't want to qualify them June 1st on Friday, and then in turn, I don't want to throw them on the truck 2 days later. I just don't think that's going to work out well for these babies, and I'm kind of not between a rock and a hard place. We schooled them all in 2-2 and 2-3 and 2-4 last Monday. They're ready to go. I'd say Ivanka's ready to go a mile in 2-2 or 2-3. Not an Angel, 2-1, pretty easy. Holding steady, 59. 2 minutes. That should be enough for Monday. Well in hand. Packed them up. Head them out to Angie Coleman. Angie, they're coming on Sunday, so we're going to qualify them all on Monday. Not the best timing. Felt a little embarrassed entering horses into qualify in May, the end of May, but it was the end of May or June 1st. First baby races in Mohawk, I think, are June 5th, 6th. We've been enough with most of these horses where it's not a big deal. So, Monday morning, first 3 go behind the gate in 2018. So, back in a minute. I'm going to tell you about the race horses first. Then we're going to talk about my personal horses that I thought were on the move this week. There's 5 of them. And we're also going to talk about the top 10 for this week. Again, a lot of movement on these lists. We're going to run through the whole list after that, explain what's going on. But fair's fair. The horses that did the best work this week found their way onto this list. You're going to see a lot of horses drop off this list. Not a big deal. They dropped off the list mostly because we didn't ask them to do a lot this week. I'm not going to ask them to do a lot for a few weeks. But nevertheless, the ones that are on here are the ones that deserve it. To be back in a minute. Race horses, top 5, top 10. We're going to run through the yearlings for you right after that. I'm actually underway. I'm going to eat lunch with my wife and 2 kids. It is a scorcher of a day here in Ontario. It is 27 degrees right now and not an ounce of air blowing anywhere except for this air conditioner. Whew, it's hot. Anyway, as I said to you this week, the top 5 would be 5 horses that I personally thought made an impression on me this week. Horses that I thought were on the move. Horses that maybe I thought would do something over at Mohawk and exceeded those expectations. Those are going to be my top 5 movers of the week. My top 10 horses are horses that rightfully so belong on the top 10 list. Now, in all fairness, White Tiger he went to the track, but he made a break. We took him and Maintenance Man there early because we knew they would need a few times behind the gate to get it all, put it all together. So you're not going to see Maintenance Man on the top 10. King of the Ball, another horse, just went over there to learn. You're not going to see him in the top 10. Arvika's not on the top 10. She didn't even go over. There's a lot of the horses. The top 10 has changed dramatically this week, but in real time, it's only fair. The horses that made this top 10 list worked their butts off at Mohawk, impressed the hell out of me and everybody else that was watching them. So for me, top 5 in real time, top 5 movers of the week, top 10 horses of the week, and then we'll get into explaining how everybody did this week, explaining what the drivers thought. For those of you out there, a number of people, I had teased you and said, hey, we have some interviews with the drivers. I just did the interviews with my phone. Curtis said they sucked. So he didn't post them. I trust Curtis. He knows what he's talking about, and that's that. I have seat air conditioners on this car somewhere. I know they came right there. Anyway, so we're going to get on to the top 5. So these are horses that I expected them to be X. Expected them to be good when they went over. They exceeded my expectations. Really impressed with these horses. First one, I love this filly. 1, because she urinated all over James the other day. And 2, because we took the hobbles off her for the first time in ever. She went out 1 mile 2.6, come half 59, come a quarter and 29 a bit, 28.4, I don't know. But as much as James was, forgive me, pissed off, as much as James was pissed off at what took place during the mile, he only had nice things to talk about when it came to the actual mechanism, the actual filly, the way she moved. Obviously, there's some concerns. What the hell are we going to do with a horse that pisses in it? However, everybody, we're going to rig something up for her this week. But as an individual, she was tremendously good this week. Really happy. Here's a well-bred, big, gorgeous filly with a beautiful gait. You know, I would rather have a horse with a urinating problem, I guess, than a horse with a talent problem. She doesn't seem to have a talent problem. This one, beautiful filly. My God, she looked good this week. And she urinated on James, so top marks to her. Appreciate that. And, you know, it just goes to show you, James McDonald is one of the leading drivers in Canada, and he knew there was at least a 90% chance he was getting pissed on, and he still went out. I would have told somebody to get blank. There was no shot I was going to go with her. I had myself, that's not unfair because I was going to go with her. James was concerned with Curious Winner being in new surroundings and maybe kicking, so he traded, and he could have said, I don't want to go with either. He could have said, I'm not going with either. What am I going to do? So I might laugh about it and joke that he get pissed on, but that's a dedication to James, and he doesn't owe me anything. For those of you out there say, oh, he's your brother and he's this and he's that, James McDonald doesn't owe me a thing. You know, James has worked his ass off when he worked for me and made himself into one of the best drivers in Canada, and he could have easily just said no thanks. But he went out with it, and he get pissed on, and you knew he was gonna, and had a lot of nice things to say about this filly. So thanks for going with her, and also filly looked tremendous. So that's too far gone. Friggin' Biggin, we've talked about Friggin' Biggin before. He's made breaks. First time over the track. I thought this horse would act up because he's just a goofy bugger sometimes. I talked about how he's stupid, and we joked about it. He's not that dumb, but he is a little light in the loft, so to speak, sometimes. But I'll tell you what he is. He's one good-looking bugger. Sylvain moved him like 3 times in the mile the other day. He was all business. He ran over my wheel when I made a break on the front end with Curious Winner. He ran over my wheel and come up trotting, finished second, charging second at Bay Jewel, and looked great. So friggin' big and top marks. I like this colt. You know I do. I've talked about it. But he even impressed me. Like when and this is what I said, this list is horses that I thought they would do this. They just took it even further, and really impressed with what I saw with friggin' Biggin. Dancing on My Own. I know she's got talent. She's actually been to the track a number of times. Mario was impressed with her. He said 2-3 and a bit, come out 58. He said just try a head pull on the outside. We put a line pull on the outside of her, changed her shoes a little bit. Harry trained her Friday morning, said she was a different horse. So she'll be back at it again probably Monday or Friday over at the track. But by all accounts, Mario was pleased, very happy with what I seen. This is one of our best bred horses. Big, good-looking filly, doesn't wear a boot, big, long hobble on her, and now just a line pull on the outside. Really impressed with what I see from her. Cruising in Angus, took the hobbles off him, another horse that we wore hobbles on forever. I don't remember him ever training without them. And took them off him, put them right behind the gate, and Danny let him just scorch out of there, and he get jammed up in behind us when I made a break, and then I interfered with Final Answer. He made a break. Danny had to drag him back down to the inside. Little dramatic, but nevertheless, drag him back down to the inside, finished up strong, went a mile in like, I don't know, 2.4, 2.5, whatever it was. Looked great. Really impressed with this colt, and the #1 impressive colt from filly for me. So the other day, we had 20 slated to school on Monday, 19 showed up. I said, hey, where the hell's Buckingham at? Oh, we couldn't get her on the trailer. They're trying to load her. And the timing, we couldn't get her behind the gate. I don't think there'll be a problem with Buckingham going up to the gate. She's pretty smart. And I loaded her on the trailer the week before with no problem. So I don't know what the hell went on. But Buckingham didn't make it to the schoolers. She made it to the track, didn't make it to the schoolers. I trained her by herself after the schoolers. Nobody else on the track. Over the half in 3 and 4, 104, somewhere around there. 1 mile 2-1 with this filly. This thing's a freak. She can fly. And pulled up great, ate all her lunch that afternoon, playing out in the track today when I saw her. Really expecting big things from Buckingham. Couldn't expect any more. In fact, shocked the hell out of me that she was that good. Second time off the farm. First time, you know, going a big mile at Mohawk, all by herself, nobody around, flags flapping, tote board there, grandstand there, tractor, water truck. It's, you know, shouldn't be surprised. These horses have been professionals all winter. And I told somebody, I said, you know, they're like, geez, I can't believe it. I said, if you expect them to do something, more times than not, they will. If your expectations are fair. You know, the people that get timid around them and try and, you know, baby them all the time, yeah, you're going to be let down. I expect big things from these horses. I'm not just talking about talent-wise and winning races. I mean, the way they act, the way they behave, expecting big things from these horses. A lot of them, Buckingham's one of them, impressed the hell out of me this week. So, top marks to Buckingham. So, those were the top 5 that I thought were impressive this week. Horses that I thought exceeded my expectations. A lot of them did. These horses more than others. And I looked at the entire roster, the entire list of horses. These are the 5 that stood out to me this week. So we'll be back in just a minute, and I'm going to give you my top 10 of the week. Some of them are going to surprise you. Some aren't. Don't be concerned for the people that are like, what happened? Why isn't Maintenance Man on the list? Why isn't White Tiger on the list? Why isn't King of the Ball on the list? Why isn't Vic on the list? Because they didn't go this week. They just went slow miles. I got to put horses on there that impressed the hell out of me. And I'm going to tell you, the 10 that I have on this list, they belong on this list. They looked absolutely outstanding this week. So my top 10 list has changed. I guess if you're going to look at the overall landscape of the stable and the top 10 horses on the list, yeah, I guess it's not an accurate reading, but I'm not extrapolating data today. I'm not going to tell you how good horses will be. I'm not going to say Maintenance Man will be X, White Tiger will be X. I'm not guessing today. I'm going to tell you the ones, the top 10 that were awesome this week. That's nothing against those other horses. Fair is fair. Top 10 coming up in just a minute. So, just driving home, going to, where are we going, Joe? Krabby Joe's, I think, for lunch. Kids like Krabby Joe's. Amy likes Krabby Joe's, and I'm a little under the weather. I really don't care right now. I'd eat the mission, to be honest. It doesn't bother me. I don't eat the mission, I'm just saying. Could have had to. Top 10 list. I just finished telling everybody when we were done the top 5. This top 10 are horses that belonged here. I could have given you the top 10 horses I believe are the top 10 in the stable. We could easily do that. I'm not going to this week. I'm going to give you the top 10 horses that impressed the hell out of me this week. Maintenance Man's always impressive. White Tiger, we already know the usual suspects that have made the top 4, 5, 6 all the time, all winter. We didn't start them up this week. We told you we're going to scale those horses back. They're going to get over and see the gate, and I'm going to make sure that they're battle ready when we ask them to go. But when it comes down to the very real situation at hand, which is the horses training right now today, I think it's only fair to make reference to the ones that are doing the heavy lifting this second in real time. So let's start with number 10. Number 10, his name is Yes. Yes looked awesome the other day. Jonathan Drury went with him. You know, he gets bumpy sometimes, and I really didn't know what to think first time off the farm. I said, Jonathan, how was he? He said, Jesus Christ, he's a nice colt, this colt. He does everything good. I said, he wasn't bumpy? No, he never put a step in. Right up to the gate, put his nose in the gate, trotted right out of there, followed, finished up strong. Top marks from Jonathan Drury, top marks from me. Yes was really, really good. Number 9, Big Maxie. Maxwell Plum finished second to a horse that was unbelievably good the other day. Garnered some real respect and praise from Bob McClure, who drives a lot of good horses right now and does a great job on his own, and helped us out this week going with some babies. So Maxwell Plum finished second to a horse we're going to talk about in a minute. But Maxwell Plum was awesome. Looked great, did everything right, finished up great. Couldn't be more happy. I love this horse, and I tell you all the time, I love overachievers, and he is one of the biggest overachievers of the year. Just okay bred, you know, a little fat bugger, but does his work so good. Just a nice horse. So happy to see Maxwell Plum. Tried him out 2-3 last half, 59 the other day. Just really, really impressed with this little guy. Easily number 9, could have been higher. Number 8. Number 8 is, where the hell's number 8? Number 8, Bay Jewel. Bay Jewel won her schooler on Friday. Won her schooler on Friday and looked great. Jody was very happy with her. She was in a division where I made a break in the front and a couple of runs. She just blew by everybody and was gone. 2-4, I think, last half, 58, come 28 apiece. Not shocking. A little surprised, first time off the farm, first time on the gate, for her to be so professional and so good, but not shocked that she was that good. I mean, she's just been a lights-out, beautiful filly from day one, and I love this filly, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with her, and Jim's going to really like her when we get her down to Indiana. Really, really happy with Bay Jewel. Happy with what I've seen. Happy with the horse in general. Just a beautiful filly, and can't wait to see what she's going to do this summer. Number 7, Autumn Wings. Autumn Wings was good, although Autumn Wings is also going to be a horse we start to throttle back soon enough. She trained very hard on Monday, and I'm going to make one little equipment change with her, and then we're going to put her behind the gate once more. After that, probably going to shut her down for a few weeks, let her fill out. It's very, very important. You know, there's some of these horses we have high expectations for. Some we're going to be right about, some we're going to be wrong about, but we're going to do it right. And Autumn Wings is one that we have staked to everything. She schooled the other day in 2-2, come 28 seconds on the end of it. Horse we're going to talk about in a minute, run her down at the wire, fair and square, but Autumn Wings need a few little tweaks, and we're going to make those changes and maybe put her behind the gate again Monday or Friday. Easily drives into the number 7 spot. Number 6, Time Al Houdini, could easily be higher. Just goes to show you, those of you who watched the video from the other day, you didn't get to see what went on at the start because they were just shitty phone videos that one of our clients did on my phone, and we put them on Facebook. They suck. But it's not his fault. It's not Francis Ford Coppola. So you could see where Timo Houdini came. You couldn't see where he came from. I couldn't see where he came from. I was on the front with Warwi Ultra, who we're going to talk about in a few spots. But Timo Houdini got away last. Mike Safdie came to me yesterday afternoon, or afternoon after the qualifiers, or sorry, Friday night at the races, and he said, just so you know, I was at the quarter like 35 seconds with Timo Houdini. I was sitting last out of the 6-horse field that weren't tightly packed. So if I was at the quarter in 32 and 4 at 33, he was at the quarter in 35 seconds, easy. 10 lengths from front to back, 6 babies, easily. So he tried his last 3 quarters in like 127 and a bit, which is absolutely ridiculous for speed-wise, and probably more than he needed to do this time of year. But again, I let the horses tell me what they can and can't do, and when I see him cleaning up his you know, his lunch faster than everybody else and squealing out the window at the other horses, he's just fine. And really impressed with what I saw from him. I only got to see the video you did, but Mike had referenced him a couple of times when talking to me. He's really impressed with Timo Houdini. Pretty hard not to be. 2-year-old cadaver colt, well-bred, no slouch, and he can flat out fly. So when a big mile, just goes to show what the top 5 looks like, slides into number 6. Number 6, Timo Houdini, after a trip like that. Number 5, Springbridge Proud. Springbridge Proud went a huge mile the other day, did all the work, all the heavy lifting. I kind of let Linnea up onto my wheel halfway down the lane. I shouldn't have done that. Linnea is a tiger. She run me down fair and square. And Springbridge Proud, we have those bar shoes on him. The track was a little deep at Mohawk. He was touching his outside knee with those bar shoes. Blacksmith's at the barn right now putting a set of aluminums on him. I told him if he thinks his feet are good. I felt his feet the other day. They were really cold. So we're going to put a set of aluminums on him. The only issue is that might drive him down. The lighter shoe without a bar might take him down out of his knee. We're going to put a set of shin boots on him just to be safe. But I believe an appropriate change for this guy. We could go with a straight set of full swedges. Just that track's so deep and he's got such a quick gait. I think aluminums might actually be the way to go. I'm not confident he'd get a hold of the track at Mohawk with a set of full swedges on. So rather than add some grab, some borium or cork to those, which I don't want to do, we're just going to go with a little lighter alloy with an aluminum shoe that he should be able to grab a hold of the track a little better with. So Springbridge Proud, ultra impressive. That colt come a serious last half and last quarter the other day. And if I'm that impressed with him, you can only imagine when I think of Linnea, who came from the clouds, run him down, made him like it, rubbed his face in it down the lane. She's a special little filly, I'll tell you what. Sylvain was pretty impressed with her also. Pretty hard not to be. She's just an all-around, she's a killer. She's a good horse. So number 5, Springbridge Proud. Number 4, Twinsburg. Twinsburg, every year we have a couple of horses, and probably a few more when we have this many horses, but every year we have a horse or two that just shocks the hell out of you. Last year, Lawmaker, I thought was okay. I didn't think he was as good as Cruising in Style. I thought he was a little bit better than Canali Hanover and Windchaser, but I didn't think he was the Lawmaker that I saw last year. I thought he was a slower, watered-down version of that horse. I thought he'd be effective. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be the leading colt in Pennsylvania that he was. So he surprised me. Twinsburg, I thought, was somewhere between mediocre, okay, and depending on the day, poor. She had a bad attitude all winter. Didn't want to do her work. She was sour. We took some chips out of her ankles, so we cut her some slack. I just didn't see this coming. I trained this filly today, and she felt as good as any horse I've trained in quite a while. The other day, she come last quarter in 27 and a piece to run down Autumn Wings. First over, nevertheless. And didn't stop. As soon as she got up alongside me, she just thundered past. Only beat me half a length, but some babies, you know, they'll get up beside and they'll hang a little bit. Not this filly. She dug down and drove past me, and I just didn't see this coming. You know, I say it every year, you just can't tell until you get them in behind the gate. Well, this is quite a transformation we're watching here. Keep an eye on this filly. This is quite a transformation from what she was to what she is. I trained her this morning, and I was floored. I just I did not see this happening with this filly. She might be one of our better horses, and I think she's going to be a good horse. She's Kentucky eligible, she's Ohio eligible, and she is owned solely by one of our clients, a good friend, a good guy, and very, very impressed with Twinsburg. I'm trying to be tempered here, but this filly is something else. She really is come out of nowhere. Twinsburg, unbelievably impressed with this filly. I can't say enough. 4 easy, and earned every inch of 4th. Third, number 3, War Wee Ultra. So, Harry and I were joking about it today. When you go out and watch War Wee Ultra jog, she looks like a bag of broken glass. She plops along, and, you know, she just doesn't look like an athletic, fluid-gated horse. She looks like, I don't know what she looks like. She doesn't look like a great horse. Then when you train her in the winter, she's made lots of breaks. She wears the hobbles a little snug. I let them out a tiny bit the other day behind the gate. But when you get going fast with her, she is one beautiful, beautiful trotter. So I didn't know what to expect. First time off the farm, I left her out in the middle of the gate, 6 or 7, just right of the starter on the truck. And gate picked up speed. Problem is, I wanted to go around 2.4, 2.3, 2.4. But nobody wants to be that guy that leaves, that guy to set up the mile in case he goes too fast. So a lot of the drivers, being professionals, they looked around and everybody's looking for somebody to go out of there. Well, War Wee Ultra's never been on the front in her life, I don't think, in a training set, let alone doing that. I let her trot out of there. She landed down on the front. You would think she'd been there a million times. And these are attributes of good horses. These are what good horses do. They remind you of good horses all the time. You can tell a good horse. And this filly dropped down to the front, settled down. Further she went, stronger she got. She could hear Time El Houdini coming. She picked a bit up. She wanted to get at it. We were over the half in 5. 134. She won a mile in 2, 2, and 1. And Time El Houdini had me halfway down the lane. I called on her. She was gone. Buried him right there where he stood and made him like it. But he also come a big last 3 quarters from where he was. I didn't know at the time. But she looked like such a professional the other day. I wasn't shocked because I knew she was fast. A little surprised at how good she was. I can't say enough. Right now is when you start to see, this is when we started to see Lawmaker take shape last year. This is when we started to see these things happening and these horses start to look like legitimate horses. And Twinsburg showing up. War Wee Ultra starting to show up. You start to see the rust fade away. You start to see those rough edges get polished. And you start to see the real animals inside. You start to see their transformation into one of many things. They could be good, they could be cheap, they could be weak, they could be cowards. Some of them are good horses. We have a lot of them. And this is one. War Wee Ultra showed me what I did not think I would see from this filly. A flexible filly? No, before usually get away 6th, let her fill into her hobbles, let her gait solidify because she would make breaks. Not blast her to the front, control the race, beat up on colts and drive away from them. Good horses, legit horses. I didn't see that coming. This filly's a good horse. She's a good horse. And she looks like crap going slow, but she looks like a horse you don't want to race against when she's going fast. Very happy with War Wee Ultra. Very, very, very happy. Number 2, West 52nd. Actually, War Wee Ultra maybe could have been ahead of West 52nd. I didn't go with West 52nd, but I know that Bob McClure had nothing but good things to say. I had White Tiger who made a break at the half, so I didn't get to see everything. I had to see the video that Garnet Burnsdale shot, and I didn't get to see how strong this colt was, and how powerful he was, and how easy he did it, until I looked at the video, and then in turn talked to Bob, and he said, this colt's legit. He said, I didn't even call on him. It come like 28 seconds. So West 52nd, not surprising to me, probably not surprising to you, was my top pick at the sale, which doesn't mean anything. Very happy to see him coming around. This is a tough colt. He was a little strong in the face. We made some real equipment changes with him. Made some shoeing changes. He was making breaks when he asked him at high speed. You saw him run in, one of the last videos, run in and make a break at the wire on somebody. Not at Mohawk. This horse was all power the other day, and he's ready to go. He won't need to go to Mohawk anymore until the baby schoolers. Bob said he just stuck his nose in the gate like he's seen it a million times, and he overpowered everybody with ease and drove away. Ultra impressive was West 52nd. Number 1, not that shocking, Linnea. Linnea is a filly that's small, not a big filly. Looks like a little linebacker. She's tough. Oh man, she's talented. I was pacing away from the horses in the last turn with Springbridge Proud, and I doubled them up to let everybody tighten up. I took a look over my shoulder. I could see that the pack was relatively tight, but I didn't want to get beat. You know, I wanted to let the horse pace down the lane, but I wanted to make sure everybody was in it, and that was my mistake. I let Linnea off to my wheel, and you can almost see her dig in. You can almost see her switch gears. You almost see her refuse to lose. And this filly is not built to do what she does. You know, she doesn't wear a boot. She wears a Murphy blind and a head pole on the outside. She's small. She doesn't look like she can do what she does, and she is a powerhouse. Sylvain just looked over at me after, and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Wow." He said, "This is a nice filly." Like, he come a half in like 57 seconds. His own last quarter had to be 27-3 from where he came from. She just did it like a 5-year-old. This filly, were we ultra, like, I expect good things from horse like West 52nd. That was a specimen, a big, powerful colt all year. And we know that Maintenance Man and White Tiger and Arvika, these horses are going to show up and be the horses we know they are. I didn't see this from Warwi Ultra and Linnea. I knew they were good, but you don't know how good until you put them in these situations. And when they do what they do, and then they come home and they're playing, they're jumping around the stall, they're eating their food right up, they got their head out the window, it's at that point you know that that's a good horse. Might be wrong. Maybe there's a lot of good horses out there. Maybe everybody's got a Linnea. Maybe everybody's got a West 52nd. I don't know. I know we got one. So Linnea, Warwi Ultra, Ontario, we have some strong horses in Ontario. Timel Houdini, Timel Tulo on the trotting colt side. West 50, Linnea, sorry. Sunshine Inn. I know I'm missing one. On the filly side, Mo Better. Maintenance Man, colt side. What are we missing? Trotting fillies. Warwi Ultra, Dance Hall Babe. Haven't even started her yet. Gonna have a fun year in Ontario. Fun year. Number 1, Linnea. Now, in just a minute, I'll run through everybody's list to give you a real idea of what we saw, what we thought, if there was any issues, things we needed to work on, because there was some horses we needed to make some changes with, and we're going to make them. There's some horses I'm going to send out in this email. I'm going to give you a list and a rough timeline of what we'd like to have ready when. We're going to give you a list of those ones that we're going to start scaling back and slowing down and maybe even turn out for a few weeks. And the list of the ones that we're going to have ready, the list of the ones that are already done for the summer. There's 3 of them now on the list. Stolen Dance is going to get the summer off, 90 days off. Better Call Mike is already out, and so's Boldness. Those are the only 3 out of 54 that we turned out to mature. So it's been a great week. Really, really impressed with what I saw. Really, really impressed with some of them. We're going to give you a rundown in just a minute of everybody. Take care.